Season 8 of Marvel Rivals just released, and with it comes the arrival of Devil Dinosaur, a large T-Rex who hopped through a time portal and spends his time fighting crime with his best friend, Lunella Lafayette, or as some people would know her better as, Moon Girl, until he got kidnapped by the Collector. Devil's a great character and he's a blast to play, but I really can't help but feel like Netease dropped the ball on this season. Moon Girl is nowhere to be found, like pretty much at all. She has no sprays, no banners. The little scraps that she has in the game is the tiny event pass where she just has an idle bouncing PNG, a few tiny voice lines for eliminations as well as 2 abilities for Devil, and the accessory that she gets for Devil, which is the most involved thing but ultimately just amounts to a small amount of visual flourish. In game, it reads that Devil and Lunella are best friends. Reed exclaims that they're 2 halves of the same whole, and in the Moon Girl plush that Devil has, it reads that neither are complete without the other. And to be honest, that's exactly how I feel about her, which makes her exclusion from the roster and Netease basically drawing a hard line for not adding her really disappointing. I'm obviously not advocating for Netease to add a 13-year-old child, and that's not what people are upset about. It feels as if Devil is lacking the magic he would have otherwise, and it's upsetting that Netease supposedly claimed how much they loved Lunella, but had so little interest in considering ways to adapt her to the game. I feel as if Netease does not have much care for black people. Maybe it's not born from malice but from ignorance, yet the end result is the same. I don't think having black characters in the game and giving them some bits of attention like the Storm and Black Panther wedding skin or the OG Blade skin make up for the fact that they just seem to have a disregard for treating them well. I might be willing to give them the benefit of the doubt, that it's just ignorance in some regards, but there's just something deeply uncomfortable about decisions, like the first appearance of Blade being him in shackles, Cloak's default skin having chains around his wrist, and Lunella being completely useless and standing around doing nothing while being arrested so she can be saved by a white man. It took them 7 seasons to give this man Cloak legs. We're fighting for table scraps, but people want to think that it's ridiculous to expect better from a billion-dollar company whose founder was staunchly in favor of representation and diversity. I believe that one of the worst offenses that I've seen people say about it is that you couldn't add Lunella to the game because aging her up goes against the point of the character. I think that believing the defining trait of Moon Girl is that she's young is fundamentally misunderstanding who she is as a character. Lunella Lafayette is more than just a young prodigy. She's an embodiment of the perseverance, ingenuity, and strength of the black experience in America. Lunella is an empowering character meant to inspire people to make the world a better place and to enable yourself to be smart, capable, and proud of who you are. She's not defined by her age. She's a great vehicle to explore the struggles of black Americans as well as the triumphs. She's the smartest human on the planet, outclassing Reed Richards, Tony Stark, Bruce Banner, and countless other geniuses. What about that isn't impressive, regardless of if she's 10, 13, or 18? I think the perfect example of what makes Lunella such a compelling character is my favorite episode from the Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur TV series. Let me be clear, I will try to avoid spoilers because it's a fantastic episode of television, and I think anybody who cares even a tiny bit about Moon Girl or black culture should watch the episode because it's free on YouTube, and also go watch the series, it's very good. Hair Today, Gone Tomorrow is a story that revolves around Lunella becoming self-conscious about her hair a few days before school picture day, due to a girl in her class calling it messy.
My mom went in on me about how my hair looked this morning.
That's ridiculous.
Right! Thank you, girl.
I mean, your hair always looks messy like that.
Say what now?
Like how it stands on end, all frizzy, but that's the look you're going for, right?
It's portrayed as very microaggressive, where she talks about how it being curly and standing on end, typically characteristics of black hair, relates to the messy look that she's going for. For those of you unaware, microaggression is a term used for commonplace verbal, behavioral, or environmental slight, whether intentional or unintentional, that communicates hostile, derogatory, or negative attitudes towards members of marginalized groups. The comments get under her skin, rightfully so, due to the uncomfortable feeling of someone criticizing your natural appearance, making you question how you look and what you should be doing. It nags at the back of her mind, and when it comes to being black in a white society, it really is a case of wanting to blend in rather than wanting to stand out. Lest you be criticized and turned down from opportunities because you don't fit the beauty standards of someone else's culture looking in at you. It's a very relatable feeling for me as a black man with dreads. I've had people tell me about how my hair looks messy, how I should go to the barber shop. I've had a man rant to me about how I should get a haircut and try recommending me a barber. It's a rough experience to go through, and not one that's unique to being 13. Which, by the way, she was aged up in the show from being 10, and nothing was lost in the transition. It has nothing to do with her age. It has everything to do with being a black woman who has to reach unrealistic beauty standards and ends up damaging her hair trying to achieve it. Moon Girl is a celebration of black girl genius, culture, and making magic out of your community, as well as appreciating what you have and where you come from. The show adds so much culture and life to the Lower East Side, as well as the lore and world building of Moon Girl. It's something to appreciate how it expands upon who she is as a character, while also keeping the roots of her setting and foundation of what makes her Lunella Lafayette. The show takes some liberties and invents new characters and plots that weren't in the comics. They don't make Lunella an inhuman like in the comics. They aged her up from 9 to 13. The creators swing about expanding the lore and themes of Moon Girl's world, and I believe they connected pretty well. I would recommend the Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur show if you enjoy the character or enjoy beautifully animated, well-paced action and funny shows. It's a great show with fantastic heart and style that perfectly expands the world and character of Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, and Lawrence Fishburne's passion to get the show produced really shines through. It's a shame it got canceled for being too woke and supporting gay people, but I guess that's a story for another day. It doesn't really read to me that Netease ever genuinely wanted to put Lunella in the game. Maybe Marvel did force their hand to exclude Lunella from the game, but saying that aging her up would change who Lunella is and what she stands for, as well as deflecting to her being inhuman, feels disingenuous at best and straight malicious at worst. The Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur show makes plenty of changes to Lunella's world, and it was all the better for it. Rivals itself takes insane liberties and changes to establish lore, or includes lesser known variants of the characters, as well as adding maybe the most industry plant-ass character of all time in Luna Snow. You're telling me they couldn't have said that some weird portal shenanigans happened and she grew up because of it, or that time was moving at a different pace for her in 2099?
Having a Lunella that's been fighting with Alchemax for years is a bit more grizzled and war-torn, but still that sweet genius from the LES that's passionate as all hell for making the world a better place sounds like a sick idea.
Experimenting with the characters and their portrayals is extremely common in comic books, and pretending like you can't do that for pretty weak reasoning feels incredibly lazy and disappointing. I've seen really weak sauce excuses like they can't call her Moon Girl when she's an adult. Peter Parker was and is called Spider-Man when he's a kid, and Doreen is definitely an adult and they still call her Squirrel Girl. Marvel didn't want them to be an Inhuman, and to be completely honest, her being an Inhuman has such negligible impact on her character that it really isn't a big deal to be disregarded. I believe there's a multitude of ways that they could have included her in the game, or potentially include her in the future if they seemingly changed their mind about her joining the cast. The first and most obvious answer is to make her older. They've done this with Penny Parker in this game, as well as there being plenty of heroes in the comics that age up with the comics, without it betraying their character. Hell, they've made an Iron Man show where he was in high school. Implying that Marvel is beyond fluctuating the age of its characters would be silly. Not only that, but she's had an adult character design in the comics before. They wouldn't be starting from scratch. They've also taken liberties with characters lore-wise for the sake of streamlining their kits or making them more interesting, such as Daredevil. Number 2, have an alternate iteration of her. They have alternate versions of Psylocke and Iron Fist, so they're clearly willing to deviate from what would be considered the mainline designs and norms for the characters. Why not have Devil Girl, who's a descendant of Lunella, and adapt her design and lore for the game, especially considering the fact that it takes place in the future? That feels like it would have been a great way to implement a variant of the character while sidestepping the problems they supposedly had with designing Lunella herself. The final idea I had for implementing her is one that's a bit less exciting but could still work either way. Why not have a robot clone of her? In the Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur show, due to a reason I won't spoil, go watch the show now. Lunella isn't able to go out like normal and do Moon Girl stuff, so instead she creates a robot clone called Shmoon Girl that she could control and essentially function like how Lunella does, so she could still act as a superhero while staying out of harm's way. It gets destroyed in the show, but it would be a great way to obviously keep Lunella safe while also having her be in the action in capacity as Moon Girl. It would be a bit deflating due to it not being Lunella herself, but it would be a good way to work around their supposed limitations that they had when it come to adding her. It feels as if plenty of Rivals players and fans disregard the issues and circumstances around the game just because they enjoy it. In fact, I've seen people disregard other people who are upset about this or have gripes with the game and say that the discourse was performative. I enjoy Marvel Rivals and I want to keep enjoying it, but knowing that not only is one of my favorite Marvel characters ever probably not going to be playable, but feeling like the devs, either through malice or ignorance, didn't care to add her just doesn't sit right with me. It's made it hard to enjoy the new season and Devil Dinosaur being added. I love Devil, he's an awesome guy, the best boy, besides Jeff of course, and a cool T-Rex, but as Reed said, without Lunella, it feels like the soul of the character isn't fully there. I think that if anybody enjoys like Devil, I think you would really enjoy the Moon Girl show. It's a very good show. It gives him a lot of attention. A very good character exploration for Lunella and a lot of the people in her world. I think it's very well animated, very great action and great story. It has really good music too. I really enjoy it. It's sad it got canceled, but hey, it happens sometimes, I guess. I don't want to be completely negative. I think it's awesome that they brought Diamond White and all of the other voice actors for Disney back. It's really cool that they did that, and I think they all do an amazing job. I think Devil's design is awesome, and I don't know, that's it when it comes to positivity for me. I don't know, drink water, fuck Disney, bye. I don't know, man.